viewers, welcome to my space, welcome to your space, welcome to our space. We're back with another video, another banger. And today we're doing the continuation of African parenting of the previous generation and of this present generation. Because of so much bad birthday and then we're not able to we're not able to complete the previous episode because it was taking too much time and we just needed to cut it. So today we're doing a continuation of it. Yeah, please subscribe, turn on the notification icon to get notified every time I drop a new video. Like, share, please help me grow my page, help me grow my channel, please help me grow my channel, and God will bless you. So my G, as usual, Adams, we here again. So I was trying to say last time, I said African parenting of the previous generation and of this generation, they all had some parts in which each of them failed. But we get the parts of this generation where people believe it's worse than the previous because of social media, and we forget we cannot put the blame of social media totally on the parents. Yeah, so we should get that in the back of our, because one should just say African parents of this previous generation will just like you. We just say, hey, social media, look at social media, look at what's happening. Sometimes these parents are really trying, but you cannot really control much about social media. You can only do your best. Once the child is not at home or within your reach, or you go to work or something like that, you will not be able to monitor the child. Of course. So, in as much as social media is a really big influence in the lives of children here of this present generation, some parts parents have to play their role in the sense of parental guidance and other things. If you can be able to monitor your child's phone on, like putting PG, I think PG is parental guidance, so that to know if the child is, when the child has not gotten to that certain age, he should not be watching stuffs or saying things that of his age.
I totally agree with you. But another thing that you need to know is the exposure of that child that we are talking about. You understand? Like, the exposure of him or her on the internet. Like, we might set a parental guidance and whatever, try to do whatever we want to do. But what comes in play again is also the society. The society that this teenager, this teenager that we find ourselves, that we're trying to grow up in a way that a well mannered and cultural way, find himself. Understand? If he find himself in the wrong society, there's a tendency that he does. He follows that same line of that society. It's gonna flow with the movement, like what is seen every day, what is exposed to, and all of that. So, I believe that the parents are also doing, their efforts here and there, because now, like I said, the previous generation and now a lot of things change, a lot of things has evolved, and a lot of parents are more busy than those times. So the parents can also do their, can also put in effort and try to bring their child, but the more, like, my own point is, the child in question needs to understand, the point of view of the parent, like the roots, like where the parents came from,
the culture. So I think that's one of the issues of this present generation, that our parents of this generation do not really take their time to lecture their children or tutor their children about the culture. So many children do not even know anything about their culture. It's as bad as it is bad to that point where some people do not even know the name. I've seen people do not even know the names of their buildings, their local government.
Even the way they dress, like they can't even differentiate, coming from our own perspective now, like our own country now, like, so we can't even tell if this is an Igbo dressing, an Hausa dressing, a Yoruba dressing, and maybe a Fiki video.
Somebody that does not even know it's really happening to you. So people do not even know where they are from. Like, they do not know their roots. They don't know I've seen people who they don't even know their real language. Where are you from? say I'm from that it just be I've seen people and I'll be startled that I thought every because it was really shocking to me to see people that don't really know where they are from. They just like they don't even care. And once if you tell them, "Ah, why don't you try to find out about you?" They say, "No, I don't care. What do I need it for? I don't really know. Perhaps my parents did not tell me anything about that." I'll be like, "Okay, I get it."
Like for example, that I used to remember back then, like it's funny to me now because what I'm saying is that back in those days, our parents would send us to school to go to learn English language, for example. Then we will go to the school to learn the language. Then like we'll come back, maybe we're watching a sort of program on television, and maybe our father or my mother can say, put volume. You understand? Like that's that is the normal pidgin English. Like then you as a child will say, no, that is not put volume. It's increase the volume. And they'll tell you, are you stupid? Don't let me increase it. Don't let me increase it. Don't let me like those kind of things. Those kind of things reminds you of like when they talk to you in like in the sort of language, in the sort of manner. No, you your brain reflect that like this is where I'm from. Like this is me. Like you guys can take me out of this place, but you can't take that place out of me. You understand? Like
I think one of the things I feel because now I think on this I just want
born here. They just speak Italian. They don't even know. They speak Italian. They don't even know the language that their mother speaks. They don't even know. They just they speak a foreign language, and when you ask them, they say, my parents are like that's what gets me angry. They say they will tell you my parents are from Nigeria. They won't tell you. They won't like when you ask someone where are you from, like directly where are you from, like that person can tell you I'm from Nigeria. But when you ask this, when you ask these new teenagers that were born here, that grew up here, that they don't even know that maybe they've gone to Nigeria maybe once or twice, occasionally like that. When you meet them, when you ask them, where are you from? My parents, they'll tell you my parents are from Nigeria. It's not all my parents are from Ghana or whatever their parents comes from. They won't tell you exactly that they are Nigerian or Ghana or Togo or whatever country that their parents are coming from. They tend to claim the cultural practice of where they were born into. Of course, there's no harm. There's no harm in being born, in a country, in a foreign land. It's not your fault. But I think, putting more effort, trying to let them know that look, okay, you guys were born here, you guys, can continue whatever you want to continue, but let it be at the back of your mind that this is where you come. Like when push comes to shove, like this is where you point to, like this is where you say, like that, I'm going back to where I come from. Like that's where they really, really, really recognize you, but well, we can only say a lot, but I think with the social media, with the exposure and the way the life is going now, it's more different and more complicated to teach these kids, to let them know, and moreover, the most important thing out of all these discussions is that these teenagers now, their mindset is different. Their mindset is different. What sometimes I don't really know what goes on in their head. Like it's like something like they think about something totally different from our own thing. Yeah, we are older. We've seen life experience.
Gen Z, you're trying to bring out the Gen Z and the millennial. They are not. You can't expect because I think the generation that we were born in plays a huge role in our lives. So
we are also living in that generation too. Try to remember that.
But your experience, what you have seen, those people have not seen it. So there's a difference in it. And I feel one of the things here is I feel this generation here, the parents are more open to their children. There's one good thing about children here being more closer, and I see that bond and that relationship between parents and children. Those days, we cannot say anything about depression. You cannot say anything about mental health. And it's really bad here. You cannot talk about mental health. They be like you're possessed, you have been bewitched or things like that. Well, I like these generations, and I want more parents who still think of mental health or depression as a bad thing, to really open up and learn and come out and learn from this, and that the world has advanced,
Yeah.
and this mental health or depression or problems are real. It happens. Some people are going through a lot. And you cannot say because your first child, it not happen to me, it does not happen to this child. Why is it you? No, because we are built differently, and we tend to behave in different. We have different personalities. So don't compare your children, and don't compare. And you see the issue of another thing I see with a parenting of the old. I don't know, and it's still here, but the parents show more love to a particular child than the other one, and they make it so obvious. You can be able to like, you can like a particular child more than the other, but you should not make it so obvious. Then even the others know that, oh, this is the particular child that this person likes. This is the child that mommy likes. When the other ones do something, you just feed them more, but when this one, you just treat him with, you are slack towards the other one, and it's very bad.
You know, they say there's this saying. They say a woman's first child is her first love, and that woman's last child is her last love. So you know, then those, not like she doesn't love those that were born in the middle, like the second and the third, or you know, I don't know how many child that person has, but you know, they say the first child and the last child is the first and the last love of that woman. Then every other thing, you know, comes in play. You know, she shows, but like I said before, like this new generation, like their mindset also, their mindset plays a lot of a major role in like the way they view things, like the way they live now. They live carelessly now. You know, they do things.
I think I'll bring Gen Zs together, like groups of Gen Zs, to talk, because to talk about their own, how they perceive, how they see parenting, African parenting, so that, because I want to get into their heads to know what's happening. Because you see them as awkward or strange because you don't really know what's going through their mind. But let's hear from them.
Like looking at society now, looking at what these teenagers are doing. I don't like. For me, I can only make an example of Nigeria that I come from and here that I am presently now. So I can see what is going on, what they do, how they move, how they do the things. It's very well attention neglected to them. Like they do things without even, they do things recklessly. Like I remember when we were growing up, like before we try to do something, like you think, like do this thing, if my father finds out, or if my mother, or my brother, or someone that knows you, like if they find out that I'm doing this thing, now
listen, there's no fear. Everybody's doing what he or she likes.
Now, if someone just pick up his phone or her phone and just let me just make this video and talk about this and say this and just put it on the internet. And also, the parents will see such a thing and say, "Mom, Dad, this is what they are doing, so I want to do it too." No. If you are doing that, you don't need to do it. You have to think about something creative, that like something that someone can learn from, like someone,
so inculcate that discipline in child to let him know you don't have to behave like others because everybody's doing it does not mean you have to
especially here that our own way of disciplining a child is different from their own way of disciplining a child here. So when a Nigerian mother can want to go crazy when she sees her son or her daughter do some stuff like, if it was in Nigeria now, I know what I would break you into.
I know what I would do to you.
But here now, you cannot do something like a child can just call up the police on you or on the parent and say, "Look, my mother is, or my father is doing this and this," and the police will come, they take charge, and they don't even want to listen to what the father or the mother has to say. The child is right already.
Yeah, and I think maybe one.
So those kind of things give them more privilege to do whatever they want to do, because they know at the end of the day the government is going to come and
Yeah, you just made me remember something, and I think this I will talk about it in another episode. Like children living in diaspora, like children that they were born in diaspora, or they came when they were young, or they just came, maybe they are old, but they have just come and mixed up with the system. They came to mix up with the system. Now they want to act like the way the people act here. Because I was discussing with somebody that I respect so much, and he told me about his child's attitude. that he doesn't know what he will do, that he has beat the child, but the child is still portraying that same attitude. He's just even like, then I want to say something digressing a little bit, like especially for parents that have given birth to their children abroad, and because you cannot really hit your child or discipline your child the way you want to discipline because of the rules and laws here. So I feel like here more that's why I was talking about relationship and rapport with you and your children. You have to like advise, because it gets to one point, even though you will be able to beat your child, even though you're in Nigeria or any part of the world where you can still beat your child, there's a point to beat your child too. If you will say it's not beating, then this beating doesn't even work at that point. I feel even beating a child too much is not really good. Once you beat that child once in a while, you mix it with punishment and other things. But you always beat any small thing, the next thing, no. I think that's a very wrong way, because the child will get used to that beating. At that point, anything you want to do, they don't even care. They don't care. At the end, it's not beating.
You know one thing also that the Nigerian parents use, to bring, to subsidize those kind of mindset in all those kids, is that they make example, because there's always someone in the street or in the area or in your community that is doing bad. There's things are going really, really bad for them because of the lifestyle that they chose. They can always make an example. They say, look, if you continue like this, you end up like brother Samson, or you end up like
I think I've said
Samson. I don't want to.
I don't know that I said something like when we were talking. I was like, yeah, you see, there's one thing. There's difference between making an example and comparing your children. So I feel like maybe you're trying to advise your child, or something happens, you're trying to tell your child, or your child wants to encourage your child. I think you parents need to be careful on the way they go about that thing. Because you see some parents, they'll just look at you and they'll just tell you now, just look at you and just say, they can maybe they want to encourage you in terms of academic performance. You just look at that child. Look at that child is out there. You just call one of your friends that they don't really know the friend. They say, look at that friend, get two head. They say, does he have two head? Why is he performing better than you? Why is he doing like the one doing like? You don't know what the other child is doing. You don't really, you just see you don't really know who that person is. And now your child.
For that person, maybe that person is having a private lesson after
school. You don't really know. Or in terms, you just see maybe your child misbehaving generally in one way, doing something bad. Then you just say, look at mama, something child, look at that. Why can't you be like that child? Why? Then you are trying to compare your children with other people's children. I think comparison is very wrong. Because I've seen people that their parents were comparing them with, and these people decided to go close to these people to find out.
Another thing is lack of knowledge, lack of knowing the difference between when you're comparing someone with another person and when you're giving an example.
I think this comparison is really bad.
A lot of people confuse those two words. Those two adjectives, like trying to make an example, because an example is often like it's something that our mothers and our father make reference to, like, look, they'll tell you, look, you see Mr. A and B, you see them every time. They're always walking on the street. You see what they're doing. Now we are trying to set a road for you, like we are trying to pave the way for you so that you can become somebody. Like, now we are telling you, go to school, pass your exams, read, and do all those things. Then when you get to university, do so that you don't be like brother A and B. You understand? That's an example. Then we are trying to let him see the reality. Like, speaking to me, you are even showing him an example. Like, look, you see this person, it's because you didn't read, go to school, graduate, try to find a good job so you can have a good life. You understand? So now that is an example. Then when you're comparing, like what you said, when you're comparing your children with another person's children, like, first of all, what the parents need to know is that they don't know what effort the other parent is putting on that child. For that child to be able to bring out those kind of results.
You don't even know the attitude of the child at home that they are not portraying outside, that the parents are even tolerating. But you just see the child or outside and you just compare. That's why I've seen people go to the parents, maybe their parents compare them with other people, and they'll go and meet that people, not knowing these people are doing a lot of bad things that the parents are not seeing outwardly. Then they corrupt your children. They make your children do things they are not supposed to do.
Another thing that I believe is, in growing a child is communication. Start like communicate with him or her often. Let like try to know. Try to be involved in what he or she is doing. So maybe you cannot have maybe you don't have time because of the work and some other things that you're into that you're trying to get together. Understand? Everybody has their own life, even as a father, as a mother, as a child, as a son and daughter. Everybody has one or two things that is going for him or her. So like if you got stuck in what you're trying to do, like one day just call up your son. What's up? What are you doing? How is school? What's going on? Okay, this and this. But at the end of the day, apart from that, let them be disciplined, like showing you that look, you fuck up, if you mess up, you're not messing me up, like you're messing yourself up. Like at the end of the day, that result of what you're doing, you're gonna take responsibility for those things. Although it might affect me, but I've lived my life.
It's gonna affect you more.
It's gonna affect you more because now
it's your life.
Because it's your life. Because at the end of the day, that you're gonna come back and depend on me, which I don't want from you. You understand? So those kind of things, I think communication is also key.
That's why, communication. Talk to your children. So the time you spend in beating them most of the time, why don't you sit them down?
As a culture, as a traditional man, I have to say, you need to flog this kid.
No, there's no. Beating your children is too much. Is not good. I don't.
I'm not in favor of violence.
Don't beat your children too much. I feel like you have to know where the things you need to beat them. I've seen people any small thing, just little mistakes, beating. You beat for every little mistake.
Apart from your home, it goes in schools too. Because when you're in school, when you are someone that is in SS2, beating someone that is in GS3.
That one is not your parent. That's what we're talking about. Parents now.
I'm saying those kind of mentalities what grew for them to arrive at that point.
That's bully of the school. It's another different picture. But you see, beating your child, sometimes carry your sit close to your child, talk to your child. Let your child know this. Why are you acting like this? The way you're acting is not good. Tell them, give them stories. Always come create. Don't be always having that much time to beat your child. There's sometimes the child will do something drastic. Instead of you beating, you just bring him and talk to him. Because the child you already know, I'm going to be beaten today, but you just change method. But once you derive a particular method, it's not going to really work.
They are going to get used to it and all that. Yeah, of course. But another thing that I want to add is that I've also seen kids that grew up here and kids that like maybe I don't know maybe the parents are here and they try to they make visas and for them to come. You see, the composure of those ones that are coming because they've seen it firsthand. The culture, the discipline, the respect, and everything that that we portray back home. You understand? So those things still come with them when they get here, but nevertheless, some of them
some of them
change, adapt to the society here, they don't give it.
It depends on the person. It depends on the person.
And also it depends on
where he's coming from.
Yeah, on the guardian of that person too. Because as a guardian too, you need to guard that person. You bring him into a new society, a new land. Let's say a new society, like a new community of people. Trying to make
because culture shock plays a very, very huge role.
Of course, definitely. So, someone that has been seeing, people all his life, and so all of a sudden you bring him to a place where he's seeing someone from the South, someone from Korea, someone from, South America, all of this. So, mixing, try to blend in into that society and all, Some people might blend in into the wrong path, and some people can also depend on that person and also the guardian of that person too, because the guardian needs to be like the guide of that person. Like, look, this is how it is done here. It's very easy to go astray, and it's very, very easy for you to follow your path, aim, think, and achieve what you want to achieve. You understand? So that one also is there. That one is also
cool. So I hope you people love today's topic, the continuation of African parenting of the previous and of this generation.